In other news, a United States court now ordering Lebanese terror group Hezbollah to pay $111 million to Americans who fell victim to their rocket attacks in 2006 during the Second Lebanon-Israel War. With me to discuss is attorney Yifa Segal, fellow with the Israel Security and Defense Forum and international director of UK Lawyers for Israel. Yifa, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you with us now. It's been 16 years since the attacks for which the Americans sued. What took so long?
Well, first of all, it's a very, very complicated legal process. It's very long. There are also a lot of plaintiffs and a lot of different stages to the legal process. So it's not a surprise that it takes so long. I mean, there are a lot of similar lawsuits. Usually take more than 10 years, sometimes 12, sometimes 14. I mean, there are some cases even from the time of the Second Intifada in Israel that are still pending in U.S. courts. So, I mean, it's a shock, but that's how it works, unfortunately. And I think the most important thing is that we see justice at the end of the day. So that's good news for today.
I'm assuming, obviously, that Hezbollah was tried in absentia. You know, how does a trial like this work?
So Hezbollah obviously has the opportunity to come and defend itself in the court of law in the United States. Usually they will not arrive. Not usually. I don't think they ever did. Same goes for Iran, by the way, and a few other terror groups or countries that are sponsors of terrorism. And so you can definitely have let's say a one-sided, legal proceedings. You still have to show, causality. You still have to show why Hezbollah is to blame for the damage that you allege was caused, and you still have to show the damage itself. So it is still a long process. But yes, Hezbollah did not show up to defend itself.
All right. So in the ruling on Friday, the judge ruled that Hezbollah's actions have successfully been established as being in violation of the Anti-Terror Act. What are the larger implications of this ruling, especially given that Hezbollah is already considered a terror group internationally and by the United States and most other places around the world?
Well, there are a few things. First of all, we always, there are always, people or groups that are trying to get Hezbollah or other terror groups off the designated terror list. And so it's important to, keep that memory fresh. And I think a judgment like that really helps with that. So that's one thing. Second thing is that it's a major judgment in terms of the money that is owed to the victims. And so now a new process has to begin, which means that the lawyers would have to go and search for Hezbollah's assets around the world and try to get their hands on these assets, on these funds, in order to get the money for the victims and implement the judgment. So it's a process that can take years, but as long as there are hundreds of millions of dollars in judgments due to terror victims pending against Hezbollah, that's a lot of pressure on Hezbollah. They cannot have assets publicly available anywhere in the Western world and maybe even in some of the Arab world. And so it makes their lives that much harder. And the minute that these type of assets and funds are located, then you can take away these funds from them, which is a major victory against terrorism and justice for the terror victims. So there's a lot of meaning for that. Even though it's a long, difficult process, it is very, very important, and there could be incredible ramifications for that in terms of Hezbollah's ability to continue its terror activity. All
right. Now, you bring me really to my next question, because as you mentioned, I don't think anybody really expects that Hezbollah will pay these damages. So was it necessary, however, then, to put the victims through such a long and arduous legal battle, especially when, again, Hezbollah was tried in absentia as well? Could we not have taken perhaps their testimony and depositions and then continue to try this without them?
Look, it's a real legal proceeding. There's no shortcuts. I mean, it obviously is easier when you don't have anyone on the other side, arguing, testifying the witnesses, or trying to, make your life more difficult in that sense. But it's still a legal process that you have to prove your case. Every stage of that case needs to be proven in order for the judge or the jury to be able to come to a legal conclusion that is, due process and everything that we expect from the American legal system or any Western legal system. So it is necessary. But yes, in a sense, it doesn't make the lives of the terror victims as hard as it may have been if, let's say, there was an attorney on the other side cross-examining them or anything of that nature. So there's a balance here.
All right, Yifa Segal, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, it's Emmanuel Kadosh. I wanted to invite you all to subscribe to ILTV Plus, where you can find our daily news and updates about Israel. And not only that, but live feeds, entertainment, our kosher food show, and so much more. Needless to say, your subscription to ILTV Plus helps us grow and create more content while also supporting the state of Israel. Our app is available on all platforms and devices, so I'll see you guys there.